All right, so today we're diving into some pretty big news
Yeah.
for men's health. And more specifically, we're going to be talking about prostate cancer.
Yeah, absolutely.
You sent us a press release about a successful phase 3 trial
Right?
for a new treatment called CAN-2409.
That's it.
And
Been promising.
yeah, it looks pretty remarkable.
It does.
And we've got an expert here
Thanks.
who can help us break down all the science, what it could mean,
Absolutely.
not just for treatment,
Yeah.
but for the future of prostate cancer treatment.
Yeah, I think it's really an exciting development.
So to kind of set the stage for us, how big of an issue is prostate cancer right now?
Well, we're talking about over 100,000 men diagnosed with localized prostate cancer in the U.S. every year.
Wow.
And a lot of these men end up getting radiotherapy, over 50,000, in fact.
Wow. That's a lot.
But the thing is, the standard treatment for this hasn't really changed in over 2 decades.
Wow, 20 years with little progress.
Yeah.
That's a long time to be using essentially the same methods. No wonder this new treatment is generating so much buzz.
Right, and the potential market size really reflects that.
Yeah.
We're talking about a possible $10 billion market in the U.S. alone.
Wow.
So there's a huge need for more effective treatments.
Okay, so there's this massive need, and now this CAN-2409 comes along. I've seen it described as viral immunotherapy, which sounds kind of sci-fi, to be honest.
Right.
Could you explain how that even works?
Sure. So they take a modified virus one that's harmless to healthy cells,
Okay.
and they use it as a delivery system
Okay.
to get a specific gene into tumor cells.
So they're using a virus to fight cancer.
That's right.
That's wild.
It is pretty clever.
But I'm guessing it's not that simple.
You're right. There's more to it.
Okay.
This gene they're delivering is called HSV-EK, and it works with an oral drug called valacyclovir.
Okay.
Think of it like this. The virus sneaks the blueprint for a trap into the cancer cell.
Okay.
And then the drug comes along and springs the trap, turning that blueprint into a toxic substance that kills the cell from the inside.
I get it. It's like a Trojan horse sneaking in and then wreaking havoc.
Exactly.
That's a pretty amazing way to target cancer cells specifically.
It is. And the beauty of it is, because it uses a virus, it also triggers the body's own immune system
Okay.
to recognize and attack the tumor.
So it's not just killing the cells directly.
Right.
It's also training the body to fight back on its own.
Exactly. It's a two-pronged approach.
A double whammy.
Yes.
But we hear about new cancer treatments all the time.
Right.
What makes this one stand out?
Well,
Especially in a field where personalized treatments are becoming more common.
that's a great question.
Yeah.
One key difference is that CAN-2409 is off the shelf, meaning it's ready to go,
Okay.
and doesn't need to be customized for each individual patient like some of the newer therapies.
That makes a huge difference.
It does.
Right. Personalized treatments can be super expensive and take a lot of time to develop.
Absolutely.
This sounds much more accessible.
It is, both in terms of cost and time. Now, you mentioned the press release about the phase 3 trial,
Right.
which is really the gold standard when it comes to evaluating a new treatment.
So this means they've tested it on a large group of people
Exactly.
to see how well it works in the real world.
Right. It's the final stage before seeking approval, like from the FDA.
Okay, so phase 3 means large group of people and it's got to work.
Yes.
What did this trial tell us about CAN-2409?
Well, they had 745 patients with intermediate to high-risk localized prostate cancer.
Okay.
The trial was randomized and double-blind, meaning neither the patients nor the doctors knew who was getting the actual treatment and who was getting a placebo.
Wow.
And that's crucial for getting accurate, unbiased results.
Okay, so a large-scale, rigorous study.
Yes.
What were the big takeaways?
Well, the main thing they were looking at was disease-free survival, or DFS. Basically, how long patients live without their cancer coming back. And the results were very impressive.
Okay.
Patients who got CAN-2409, along with standard radiation therapy, had a significantly longer DFS compared to those who just got radiation alone.
So this isn't just about slowing down the cancer.
Right.
It's actually helping people stay cancer-free for longer.
Exactly.
But what does significant improvement actually look like in real terms?
So we're talking about a 14.5% relative improvement in DFS at 54 months.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Imagine, for every 100 men who might have experienced their cancer returning within that time frame, 14 or 15 more could remain cancer-free for 5 years or more.
Wow, that really puts it into perspective.
Yes.
That's a real difference in people's lives.
It is.
But wait, the press release mentioned that this improvement was seen regardless of whether patients also received short-term hormone therapy.
Right.
What does that mean?
That means that the benefits of CAN-2409 apply to a broader range of patients, which is really important.
Okay.
Some men with prostate cancer can't tolerate or choose not to undergo hormone therapy.
Okay.
So having a treatment that works well with or without it is a big deal.
That makes sense. So it's effective, and it's potentially applicable to a wider group of patients.
Right.
Sounds pretty promising.
It does.
But what about beyond just staying cancer-free?
Okay.
Did the trial reveal anything else about how CAN-2409 works against the cancer itself?
It did. There's more to unpack here.
Okay.
And it gets even more interesting when we look at those details. One of the things that really stood out to me was the impact on PSA levels.
For those of us who aren't as familiar with the specifics of prostate cancer, remind us what PSA is and why that's so significant.
Sure. So PSA stands for prostate-specific antigen, and it's a protein produced by the prostate gland.
Okay.
Elevated PSA levels in the blood can be a red flag for prostate cancer.
Okay.
In the trial, a significantly higher number of patients who received CAN-2409 achieved a very low PSA level after treatment.
Oh, wow.
Compared to the control group.
So it's not just about keeping the cancer from coming back,
Right.
but actually knocking it down to very low, almost undetectable levels.
Yeah, exactly. It suggests that CAN-2409 isn't just delaying the inevitable, but potentially pushing the cancer into remission.
Okay.
And there's another piece of the puzzle that supports this idea.
Okay.
They looked at something called pathological complete responses.
Okay, break that down for us. What does that mean?
Essentially, when they took biopsies of the prostate after treatment, they found no trace of cancer in the tissue of patients who had received CAN-2409.
Oh.
That's a pathological complete response. The cancer seems to be completely gone.
That's incredible. But before we get too carried away, we have to talk about safety.
Right, of course.
What did the trial reveal about the side effects of CAN-2409?
That's a critical point, and thankfully the news is good there too.
Okay, good.
The trial didn't show any new safety concerns,
Okay,
meaning no unexpected or serious side effects popped up.
good.
Most of what was reported were mild to moderate and temporary things like flu-like symptoms,
Okay.
which are pretty standard for many types of treatments.
So a manageable safety profile for a treatment that could potentially wipe out the cancer entirely.
Potentially, yes.
That's a pretty compelling combination.
It is.
But I'm curious, the trial focused on intermediate to high-risk patients.
Right? That's right.
What about men who have lower-risk prostate cancer?
Good point. There was a phase 2 trial done in men with low to intermediate risk who were under active surveillance,
Okay.
meaning they were being monitored but not actively treated.
Right, because with slower-growing cancers, sometimes the best course of action is to just watch and wait.
Exactly.
Did CAN-2409 show any promise in those cases?
It did show some encouraging results, but unfortunately they weren't statistically significant,
Okay.
so more research is definitely needed in that area.
So for those with lower-risk prostate cancer, it's still a bit of a wait-and-see situation.
It seems that way, yes.
But for men with intermediate to high risk, this sounds like a potential game changer.
It does.
What's the next step for CAN-2409? Is FDA approval on the horizon?
Well, Candel Therapeutics is definitely moving in that direction.
Okay. The press release states that they plan to meet with the FDA to discuss potential approval for intermediate to high-risk localized prostate cancer.
That's exciting. Is there anything in the press release that gives us a sense of how likely approval might be?
There's a detail that's actually quite significant in that regard.
Okay.
The trial was conducted under a Special Protocol Assessment with the FDA.
Okay.
This means the FDA basically signed off on the trial design and what they'd be looking for in terms of results before it even began.
So they're not going in blind.
Exactly.
The FDA already has a good understanding of the trial and what it was designed to show.
That's right.
Okay. That definitely bodes well for the chances of approval.
It would seem so, yeah.
Of course, there are no guarantees.
Right.
But based on what we've seen, it's looking very promising.
It is.
Okay, so potentially a new treatment option on the horizon for thousands of men facing prostate cancer.
Yes.
But I think what really blows my mind is the bigger picture here.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean? Well, we've talked about the impact on patients. But what about the larger scientific community? Could CAN-2409's success spark a wave of innovation in other areas of cancer research?
I think it's very likely. Seeing such positive results in a phase 3 trial, especially one with a rigorous design like this, it's a huge validation for the entire field of viral immunotherapy.
So it's not just about this one treatment.
Right.
but about opening up a whole new avenue for tackling cancer.
Exactly. It could be a real turning point, attracting more funding, encouraging researchers to explore the potential of viral therapies for other types of cancer. It's like a ripple effect spreading outward.
And what about the pharmaceutical industry? Do you think this could change the way drug companies approach cancer drug development?
I think it has the potential to. We've seen a shift towards personalized medicine and immunotherapy in recent years,
Right.
but CAN-2409's success could really accelerate that trend.
So moving away from the one-size-fits-all approach to something more targeted.
Yes.
And tailored to an individual's specific cancer.
Precisely. And that could lead to more effective treatments with fewer side effects, which is ultimately what we all want.
It's amazing to think about the domino effect that one breakthrough can have. But let's zoom out even further and consider the potential societal impact. If we're entering an era where cancer treatments are becoming more effective and less toxic, what could that mean for our healthcare systems, economies, and even our lifespans?
Those are big questions, and they're not easy to answer definitively. But I think it's safe to say that if we can move toward a future where cancer is no longer a death sentence, but a manageable chronic condition, it will have profound implications on every aspect of our lives.
Imagine a world where people are living longer, healthier lives after a cancer diagnosis. What would that mean for workforce productivity, healthcare costs, even retirement planning? It's mind-boggling to consider.
It is. And it's not just about the economic and logistical aspects. Think about the emotional and social impact. People would be less afraid of cancer. They'd be able to plan for their futures with more certainty. It would be a huge shift in our collective mindset.
It's incredible to think that one press release about a successful clinical trial could open up such a vast realm of possibilities.
That's the beauty of scientific discovery. Each breakthrough builds upon the last, pushing the boundaries of what's possible and giving us hope for a healthier future.
This has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like we've not only explored the science and the potential of CAN-2409, but also taken a glimpse into a future where cancer may no longer hold the same fear and power over us.
I agree. It's been a truly thought-provoking conversation, and I hope our listeners come away with a sense of optimism and excitement about the future of cancer treatment.
So to wrap things up, we've uncovered a potential game changer in the fight against prostate cancer. CAN-2409 offers a new approach that not only improves disease-free survival, but also suggests the possibility of complete remission.
And importantly, this is just one example of the incredible innovation happening in the field of cancer research. We're at a turning point, and the future is looking brighter than ever.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of CAN-2409 and what it could mean for the future of cancer treatment.
It's always a pleasure to explore these breakthroughs with you and our listeners. Until next time.